I'm Jaclyn Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is WorkParty, a podcast that's part work and part party. WorkParty celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman: mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is WorkParty,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne?
Today's guest is someone who's not only rethinking how we travel, but also how we work. Henley Vazquez is the co-founder of Fora, a company that's bringing the role of travel advisor into the modern age, making it accessible, flexible, and genuinely sustainable. What's especially cool is that 86% of Fora's advisors are women, and almost half are parents. Fora is giving people the tools to build a business that works with their life, not around it. And it's catching on fast. LinkedIn recently ranked travel advisor as one of the top fastest growing jobs in the country. In today's episodes, we're talking about what's changing in the travel space, what it actually looks like to start a business as a travel advisor, and how technology, yes, even AI, can help you do it without burning out. So Henley, we're so excited to have you.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We're going to have so much fun, but let's dive into Jaclyn and I love traveling. I've been very jealous of Jaclyn's traveling lately, but summer travel obviously is in full swing. And the numbers that I've been seeing are so wild. So domestic bookings are up 200%. International is close behind. So what's going on and what do you think is driving that surge?
Yeah, well, I think we're having, in a way, almost a return to what we saw sort of like COVID, post-COVID, of staying a little bit closer to home right now. So it's not that people aren't traveling, but the world is kind of in an uncertain place. There's a lot of questions around sort of political situations, around economic situations. And so a lot of travelers are choosing to explore their backyard a little bit more than going farther away. Now, that's not to say that they're not traveling. Greece is having a huge moment this summer. Italy is, as always, quite popular. But what we've seen is that although there's a big growth in those destinations, it's much stronger and domestic. I also think that there's been a lot of development of great hotels here, which is actually something we didn't used to have. And so you've got a lot more options at your fingertips. So like the Shelbourne in Miami Beach, which I was just at, that just opened, super chic, like really easy, but really stylish getaway. The Dunlin outside of Charleston, or like the Hotel Yellowstone that opened in Jackson Hole. There's a lot of options to choose from. So you don't necessarily have to fly all the way around the world to have a really great trip.
I love that so much. I was recently in Greece and Italy, just supporting the stats.
One trend for those who are getting outside the country.
Yeah, exactly. And I also love doing more like local travel as well. Obviously, California and New York are both like very conducive to that. But are there destinations or booking behaviors that have like surprised you lately? Is there anything that you're seeing that's a trend that's like, oh, wow, that's interesting?
Yeah. Okay. So this might surprise you because it has surprised me. What we have seen over the last month is that almost half of the bookings that are done every week are for travel within a month. And I don't mean like little things, a staycation, a long weekend. I mean, people are booking very, very big, very expensive trips, and they're going on them within a matter of weeks. So this last minute trend, which I think stems from a lot of the other things that we talked about, it's a huge thing right now. And even to the point, my sister was texting me this morning and was like, oh, we're trying to go away at the end of August, but I don't know what will be available. And I was like, anything, what do you want? Like, I'll plan it, don't worry. So I think is that people are planning last minute and there is availability. If you haven't planned your summer trip yet, don't worry about it. Last year, what we saw is that the top month for booking summer trips was actually in June. So it's like people are still planning throughout the summer. The other thing is I think people are really looking for local experiences. So if you're going to Greece, if you're going to Italy, if you're going to Savannah, you're looking for a hotel that feels connected to the local community, a bar that has locals that are coming into it, experiences that feel connected to the destination. So authenticity, but also spur of the moment.
I love that so much. And it's so true. I do feel like everyone's the last minute. The trip I was on was for my 40th birthday and I planned it a year in advance. And it was almost more challenging because like when it got to it, so much changed in my life. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm flying from New York and I moved to New York. Like, It's just, you said before that the travel industry, advising industry has really changed over the decades. Like, it felt like it was kind of stuck in the same old model. So when you and the team started Fora, what was the big problem you were trying to solve for? Because I think, at least for our generation, it felt like travel agents were kind of old school, to work with, but now there's like this huge swing in using them.
Total comeback. And part of it is kind of what you're saying, even you planned your 40th birthday a year ahead of time. Good for you. You actually do get more choices if you do plan a little bit ahead of time, but there's a lot of options out there. And so having a travel advisor helps you navigate that world. And so what we saw is when travel came back after the pandemic, there was a lot of there's the oversaturation of information online. There's a lack of understanding amongst travelers about what's good, where to go now, how things are changing. And then we looked at an industry that is, by some estimates, $1.5 trillion, the hotel booking industry. And in the travel agency side of it captures about 8% of that. So just what we're doing is a very small percentage of what's happening overall. There was no technology. There was a true aging population. And it was a place that had been gate kept, not really wanting new people to come in. So we kind of looked at all of this and said, all right, there's a big demand for these services. There's a big change in terms of how people are living and working. They're looking for more passion-driven work. The gig economy has come up. And we're finding people going, I think I could do this if only I were given a chance and if only I were given a platform. And that's what we built Fora to do.
I love it. And it allows them to be so creative. I mean, I was just looking through your website before you jumped on, but everything is so beautiful and allows them to just feel curious kind of your thoughts, like their own entrepreneur creating their own, experiences for their own clients. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we are the platform that sort of powers their business. They are small business owners. And I think this is a really important thing to remember, that when you're booking with an advisor, you are supporting a small business owner. This is how she or he, but our community is 86% women, is building their business. And instead of putting your dollar bills to work with, a massive conglomeration, you're helping this person build an income and build something that they love doing. So I think that's really important. Our jobs over here are to support them, to give them the right tech, to give them the right training so that they can actually do this more efficiently than they would have been done before. But there's a lot of people out there who were involved in travel planning, that friend in the friend group who's always like, don't worry, I got you. I was just there. I can help figure it out. She wasn't getting paid for that work. And that money is built into the price of hotels, cruises, tour operators. The commission is there. You just have to go out and get it.
Yeah, I love that so much. I mean, I love having those friends that just give me the list of things to go and experience. And
we all know her. See,
yeah.
Jaclyn's her.
Definitely me.
Exactly. And what stands out about Fora is how many people you've brought into this space that really, like you said, might not have seen themselves in this space, or also have been doing it for so long for free and they absolutely love it. Why was creating something that was accessible such a core part of your vision?
Yeah, I think inclusivity isn't just good for the world, it's good for business. If you create a diverse and inclusive community that reflects the diversity of the travelers out there, you're going to build a stronger business. The problem with our industry is it had always been so sort of sheltered from the rest of the world and challenging to enter. You have to quit your full-time job. You have to pay thousands of dollars for training. You have to hit sales minimums. And if you don't, you're out of there. So really good luck. This means only one kind of person can do this job. When you create flexibility and you bring down those barriers to entry and you bring up the technology, what you do is give the opportunity for a lot more people to come in, because they say, okay, I can do this while also raising my kids. I can do this while also working in tech or media or law or any of the things that our advisors are doing. When a traveler comes to us, whatever kind of trip they want to plan, we're going to have somebody who can do that. Ultra high end, cruise, active adventure, wellness, you name it, we've got somebody who knows that kind of trip. And that's something that really lacked before. Travelers couldn't necessarily find somebody who really got their travel style.
I love that so much. And the role has seriously taken off. So LinkedIn ranked travel advisor as one of the fastest growing jobs in the US. And then you raised $60 million and hit $1 billion in bookings, which is unbelievable. So why do you think this moment is now?
Well, I think somebody just had to do it in a way. I think the opportunity was there, but we'd resisted change in the industry, and also nobody had come along. And frankly, building technology takes a lot of expertise and a lot of money. So actually having investors come on board that believed in our vision and were willing to give us a shot to go out and do something, it was sort of there for the taking. They just needed somebody who was sort of well-versed in what was out there and could think about how to improve it. But I do think it's been remarkable to watch it happen. These are people who, again, are 97% new to the industry. So when I hear people who wonder, can this really work? It's all new. Can these people, I say, well, I got $1 billion in sales to show you they're doing it.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And before we dive into the tech and the AI part, which is my favorite, for someone that is listening and they're just curious if they qualify, what does that path actually look? And do they have to
Yeah.
go all in or could they do it part-time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, so the path to entry as a travel advisor. There is an application. What do we look for in the application? We look for opinions because, again, there's all sorts of different kinds of travel. Travel means something different to every single person. Whatever it is that you're booking, just have an opinion about it. It's not just, I like a Marriott hotel. I like this specific one for this specific person. So opinionated, customer service oriented people, good communicators, detail oriented. And then our membership team grades these. So they really do go all of these. We grade them, we invite them to a kickoff call, and then we will extend an application if they are going, or a link to join if they're going to come in. Once they get in, there's extensive amounts of training. There's cohorts so you can learn with others. There's self-led training if you don't really have time to join the cohort, but you just want to get going quickly. There's milestones that you reach along the way. There's tests, there's certifications. So there's a lot that you can do trying to figure out exactly what is your vibe. So obviously, you want to do the basics, the 101. So certified, advanced, working your way up. But then are you really interested in accessible travel? We have an accessibility badge that's helping our advisors learn how to plan accessible travel for mobility impaired travelers, which is to me really important. That's actually a lot of people out there, whether it's a wheelchair user or a broken leg. This is good to know. Are you interested in cruise? It's booming right now. You should be. We have a badge for that. So really getting in there and learning what it is that you're going to be doing in your role as a travel advisor, because loving travel isn't the same thing as being a travel planner. Full-time, part-time, that's up to you. So we really like to meet our advisors where they're at. If they want to do this full-time, and we see lots that come on part-time initially, as they built up a business, they shift over to full-time. But for us, we want to support them wherever they are. Big business, small business, it's their business.
I love that. And you mentioned cruise. It's like everyone's on this Ritz-Carlton cruise right now.
Everyone.
It's blowing up my entire feed. But you mentioned this earlier, but you're very tech forward. And so travel planning, as you mentioned, needs to be super personalized, right? Like to that person, whether it's wellness or food or whatever it is that they really want to be doing. And you've built obviously a human powered business, but how are you using tech to like support that, but not replace like that human touch?
Yeah. By the way, a hot tip on that cruise that is also blowing up all of my feed. I know from somebody on there, apparently Tom Brady was on there. I guess it was like right before the Bezos wedding. So literally everybody was on that ship.
Cruising around.
This is not what we used to think of as cruise. And that is really where the tech comes in, because what we want is our advisors to be thinking about that exactly. Hey, hang on. This is changing. People who didn't used to do this are doing this now. So how am I presenting and marketing and pitching my business?
Right.
What I want my advisors to do is to focus on that, not to really be bearing the administrative burden that has always limited the business of small businesses. So back when I was running my previous agency, more than half of my time was spent trying to collect commissions, reconcile payments that came in, sort of figure out what's going on with my MailChimp. And so what we do is take that all off their plate, let the tech handle that so that they can focus on what is truly today the premium service, which is customization and matchmaking.
Yeah, so AI is so important for us in general, and I'm such a big believer. I mean, I'm obsessed with AI and what it could do. I believe that it can really allow us to scale faster, but help more people. Can you talk a little bit about AI specifically and how you've integrated that? Because I know, do you ever get an email and you're like, they chat GPT this, right? Or like you read a caption and you're like, girl, this is chat GPT. And so I'm curious kind of how you've integrated AI specifically without it making it feel like ChatGPT.
Yeah, wrong way to use AI is having it write your emails. Maybe review them, soften the tone, but not write them. The right way to use AI is what I believe that we're doing. So we have various engineering pods that work on sort of in cohorts with other parts of our advisor experience team. So one is specifically focused on fintech. One is specifically so focused on the booking platform. One is specifically focused on each part. What our AI team does is pushes into each one of those pods. So helping them optimize every aspect of the work that's being done. So things that AI is doing for us. Our advisors upload client reviews as well as write their own reviews of property. This isn't visible to the public, it's visible to us. So when I'm looking on our portal, I can see what did everyone say about the mark. So when I have a client looking at it, AI is summarizing all that. I don't have time when I'm on the phone with a client to go through and read every review. I mean, imagine trying to peruse TripAdvisor, and ours is kind of an internal TripAdvisor. AI is summarizing all of them and putting it up top. So immediately I can go, okay, here's what I really need to know. I can dig into it more, but it's summarizing it for me. AI is monitoring our booking. So Price Drop, which is something we launched recently, for every booking done with a Fora advisor through our portal, it's going to monitor the price for you. So I recently had a client who was headed to Madrid. The price changed pretty significantly for their stay at the Four Seasons. I got a notification, hey, your client's room is a different price now. So I went to her and said, do you want me to rebook you at the lower price? I can also see that a suite is now available at the same price. What do you want to do? She saved a ton of money. So hundreds of thousands of dollars for our clients are being saved. That is not something that our advisors have time to be doing every single day with the hundreds and hundreds of bookings that they may be managing at one time, but AI can do it for them. And that lets them shine and lets them provide that customer service without spending all of their time trying to do something that prevents them from continuing to build their business.
Absolutely. I mean, that's an incredible use. I think that's so smart because that's the worst when you you find something that you could have gotten for cheaper.
Right.
It's like a nightmare. But I love that. So we've obviously talked a little bit about like work changing and how it's so different and what people want is so different. You mentioned the majority of Fora advisors are women and they are balancing careers and they are parenting and caregiving and sometimes doing this part-time. What are you hearing from them about why this model really fits their lifestyle?
I mean, it's like hard to talk about without getting a little emotional because it's like almost every day I hear from someone within our community, men and women, talking about what it is to be empowered to earn money and own a business. This is something like very real, and it can be anything from as sort of serious as I have a special needs child. I had to leave my full-time job because of the level of care that she needed, and now I'm able to build a business at home while also being the mother that she needs, to like I just went and bought something that I never could have afforded in my life. And I feel so powerful that I was able to spend that from the money that I earned. And it's a splurge, but it's for me. And I think that is all of it, is that I think as women, or as really as workers, the empowering feeling of earning income doing something you love cannot be matched. The empowering feeling of envisioning and building a business in a way that feels authentic to you cannot be matched. And so it truly is like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't receive an email, a text, a DM from somebody just saying what this has done for them. And it's a real honor to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love the flexibility. And I think post-COVID, obviously remote working has been such a big thing. And there's so many leaders listening to this episode. And I'm curious kind of how you've integrated community within the day-to-day of these employees. And like I'm always curious, like how do you maintain culture remotely, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you kind of some of the tactical things that you've done or things that you've integrated to keep that.
Yeah, no, and community is so important. And that is actually one of the biggest challenges. Aside from all the tech and gatekeeping in the travel agency industry, community is one of the hardest because these are independent contractors. They are usually home-based and they are everywhere. Our advisors are in all 50 US states and 92 countries around the world. So they're very spread out. And that is typical of sort of independent contractor work. But this is a job that it's really better done together. So we've done a few things to build community. We do days of learning every month, both here in our offices in New York, as well as in other markets around the country. And actually, there's one happening in London this week where our team goes out, teaches about building your business, brings in suppliers. We have our yearly conference that we do here in October, where hundreds of advisors as well as hundreds of suppliers come in to network. We do our familiarization trips and our retreats. I was in Dubai and Oman 2 weeks ago with 40 of our advisors. I was in Nicaragua last week with a bunch of our advisors doing a Fora summer camp, which was actually where we brought our friends and our family and our kids. The kids were in camp together. We were co-working during the day. So we really try to find any way for them to connect. Our chapters, which are in some of our bigger markets and run by local advisors, sometimes they're co-working, sometimes they're going for a hike together, because I think it's really important that as you're doing this, you have people who you can call, meet for coffee, bounce ideas off in person. And that's what makes the sort of the harder moments a little bit more fun.
I love that. Okay, so this is kind of a fun question, but I'm just curious, like, what is your favorite go-to travel spot right now? Like, what are you really loving that isn't like in Italy or Greece or like all the things that we're seeing being oversaturated?
This is always a hard question, but actually, having just come back from Nicaragua, it's a little bit easier. I actually was living in Costa Rica during the pandemic when I started working on Fora. And to me, Central America, it's like dirt roads, stray dogs, surfing, like this is my vibe. And just having come back from there, I was just reminded of, yes, I love like a fancy city hotel. Yes, I love an Amalfi Coast break, but really the kind of place that I feel kind of like I'm coming home is really going back to Central America.
So Marina and I went to Costa Rica together. It was like one of our favorite trips. And I always tell people I went on a trip to Belize and I loved it so much. And I always tell people, I'm like, it's kind of like an underrated destination. I went with Alaska Airlines and I would have never picked it, but because it was picked for me and I was like, oh, it was so good.
That's what a lot of people were saying last week about Nicaragua. Like, wait, we didn't kind of know that this was an okay place to travel. And now we're here and it's Costa Rica 20 years ago and we're kind of understanding what this is. And I just think Central America is a really not as well-known destination, aside from Costa Rica, which has now since 2020 become much more popular, but it's so special.
I love it.
What is next for Fora? Are there new tools, features, shift that you're excited about, and really things that you're excited to bring to life?
Yeah, I mean, there's always new tools coming out. So obviously Price Drop was one had been working on for a while and we're really excited about. We've got an itinerary builder that's launching. We are going to have something soon that we're calling for now Quote and Book, where our clients, so if I send you an email and you have, your 3 hotels that you're choosing from, if it's 11 p.m. on a Saturday night and you decide that you're ready to book, you're actually, the traveler, going to be able to click and book. And then I'll get the notification, okay, Jaclyn chose to go to Santa Teresa, so I can follow up. But I think a lot of the frustration on the traveler side is what we're starting to think about now. How do we make the advisors more efficient, but also give travelers tools that they can operate with a travel advisor in a way that feels a little bit more tech empowered as well. So lots of really great tools that are coming along that, again, I think, if you're somebody who's looking for a flexible career, looking to build something in travel, we're going to give that for you. If you're a traveler who's looking for an exceptional experience, don't go online, come to us. We will match you with a great advisor. And that is really the kind of experience that we're looking to create moving forward.
I love that. Henley, thank you so much. So to wrap up, if you're ready to build a flexible, fulfilling career in travel or just want to explore what it could look like, head to foratravel.com/join us. I will say I already texted my sister because she would be so good at this. I was like, you need to do this. Like even
Pass her on.
I will. Don't worry. She already said I'm checking it out. So you can learn more about becoming a Fora advisor, check out their tools and training, and see how people from all kinds of background are building thriving businesses on their own terms. And if you're planning a trip, you could connect with a Fora advisor who will handle all the details so you can enjoy your experience. Follow along at Fora Travel to get destination inspiration tips on all things Instagram and all that good stuff. And Fora is making travel and work look different in the best way. So check them out, and they will be popping up at the festival. So come speak to their HQ team and an amazing advisor while on site.
Yes, we're so excited to be there.
Yay, we can't wait to have you. Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
to legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.